What's going on, guys? World of YouTube. People. Faces. Not faces. Microphone. Hey, kid, let me hear that. Alright, we got Recoil Control up. So, if you guys have watched any of the other episodes, you know, first thing we're going to do is shoot this at the wall. Get us a good base recoil without any control. Go up. Take a look at how this gun recoils, which the Re goes up and to the right, and then they throw in the RNG in there, which is that left right kind of look to it. And then what I'm doing here is basically practicing recoil control with the hip fire. So you're basically wanting to input the opposite direction that the gun wants to pull when it recoils. Anybody that understands basic recoil understands this principle. The first aspect of getting good with any weapon is being able to control the recoil as best as possible to keep that grouping nice and tight. So that's basically what I'm doing here. And I'm working on it on the wall, running up, checking that grouping, seeing how well I'm doing. Because essentially you want to make sure that your grouping is tight enough that if you're aiming at any legend, it's going to hit center mass and it's going to stay in that area and hit as many bullets as possible. Because of the RNG of the recoil, you may miss a few bullets. That's just kind of how it goes, but missing those few extra bullets from the recoil that you can control is the difference between winning a fight and potentially losing a fight by 1 or 2 bullets. And if you die and see that the guy's one shot, you're going to feel real bad if you miss that shot. So essentially what I'm doing here is making sure that I have the best recoil control possible. I am going to do things a little differently here. I'm going to kind of talk over my mindset behind everything that I'm doing rather than just talk about what I'm doing, because I feel like if I just explain what I'm doing, you can see that in the video. So basically what I want to do is I want to make sure, as you see here, that I can one clip a target at different ranges. Because to me, a weapon is only as good as the person using it in any game. That's a given. So I want to make sure that I am as good as I can be with any weapon in this game. That's the whole point of this series, is to get good with every weapon, with every legend, with every attachment, with every sight. And as you'll see, I am forcing myself to use that 1x hollow. I'm going to get good with that by the end of this. Now we're moving on to just the iron sights. My mindset behind this is if I drop in and all I can find is the Re and no sights, no attachments. I am using a purple mag just so I can fire as many bullets as possible to keep that recoil control going. Here we switched over to the threat detector sight. Again, just trying to switch it up, make sure that I get good with every sight, every attachment, because you can't control in a game where loot is RNG based what attachments you're going to find, or even what attachments you may loot from somebody. And rather than kill somebody, get into their loot box and realize that they don't have the one sight that you're good with, you want to be able to get in there and go, okay, there's a sight, and throw it on the gun and be able to kill with that gun. So I'm testing out different ranges with this weapon, and you will actually see, I'm super stoked for this because I actually did get a really good clip of proof why you practice getting good. That far range target back there, after I want to say it was probably 45 minutes or so of doing this recoil control, I hit a clip of 275, which is a full Re-45 clip on that target. And you'll see it here coming up in a minute. But this is me testing out the 1 to 2 times variable sight. These I actually like because you can kind of go short and then mid. So here you'll see I hit 264. I was like, man, if I can hit a full clip on this, that would be amazing. And then literally right after it. So it's consistent. I was hitting consistent damage of that on those back targets. Next thing up is going to be tracking. Now, tracking is probably one of the more important training, well, the next important thing of training in this, because you're not shooting standing targets, like they're not just sitting still. So you can practice all the recoil control you want and do nothing else, and you'll get fried every time, because once targets start moving, it becomes a different ball game. So tracking, especially with these targets, if you do tracking the way that I recommend doing, which is strafe tracking, you're using your strafe or your character's movement to track the target, making sure that your target stays within your crosshair, and then using your right thumbstick as a recoil control only, versus having to track and try to recoil control, because then you tend to overcompensate or undercompensate, because you're trying not to miss your target. The other big thing that I will mention too is positioning. When you're tracking, you'll see here in a minute, after I switch from this far back left target to that far back right one, I left a couple of clips in of me at a weird angle on it, trying to use the strafe tracking to hit it, and I couldn't hit the damage on it like I'm doing there. Like I hit 209 on that. But you'll see here, I don't even remember, like 60 something or 90 something damage, 55. And then I tried a little more, I got 88. But as soon as I reposition, I've got 110 there. Literally though, as soon as I reposition, I hit 170 or 180. 176, and I could do that consistently because of my positioning. It's all about angles and positioning in this game, and I mean, I hit 99 and then 110. That's, what, 210? Yeah, 209. Wow, I can't even think. No, that's 209. Yeah. But so number one is recoil control, because you want to make sure that you're keeping that grouping tight, because the further off your targets get, the harder it is to hit them with the recoil. Second would be tracking, because your targets are moving. Third is snapping. So my mindset here is that you want to be able to move to accurately aim left or right from where you are, because real world scenario, you shouldn't be running out in the open, obviously, but you're running, trying to rotate into storm, or out of storm, and somebody comes up on your right and starts trying to shoot you. You snap on them and instantly fry them, because you're not only snapping to them, but you're maintaining that recoil control. If they're moving, you're retaining that tracking as well, so you're hitting full clips. Here I'm practicing with no mag, which is 176. That's enough to kill purples, level 3 shields, because they get 75 plus base health of 100. So that will kill a person with purples if you hit every bullet. So that just shows you the importance of recoil control, tracking, and all of these practices to get good. If you do luck out and happen to have a light or purple or blue or purple mag, that tends to give you a little bit more of a benefit. Now here, with getting crazy with it, the whole sole purpose of this is I have literally gotten as good as I feel I'm going to get through repetition. Got that muscle memory in my head for recoil control, for tracking and snapping, the 3 most important things. And then this puts you in scenarios that you would never run into, or the chances of you running into are so few and far between, but it gives you that extra little step up of being able to do that. It's kind of like if you could captain a boat in choppy waters, torrential downpours, then you can sail in regular water, or like somewhat choppy waters. If you can do the worst, if you can deal with the worst there is out there, then you can easily slide your way through the not so tough stuff. And that's the whole point of getting crazy. Like, you're never going to get into a point where you're riding on a zip line and you have to snap this many people, but it gets you prepared for if you are zipping or you are grappling away and somebody comes up on you, you can put damage into them, because in this game it's a big game of chess. You want to get inside the other person's head, and by being able to hit shots like this, where even if you put in, say, 3 shots, 4 shots, and it's 40 or 50 damage while you're doing something crazy, they're instantly going to think, wow, this guy's really good, or this guy's got laser aim. I need to figure out a different way to approach this fight, and it's going to make them rethink pushing you, and it gives you that extra time to reposition yourself and outplay them, or gives you that chance to stop zipping or grappling and fry them through recoil control, through tracking, through snapping, through those basic fundamentals of this game. And that's basically what I'm trying to do here. When we get into the gauntlet here, I'm gonna basically walk you through live what I feel like I could have done better, or I kept in a couple of good examples of not such smart plays, or not things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do in real world fights and scenarios. I did try to keep this one a little bit shorter than the others, because I feel like as I'm going through these guns, it's becoming more subconscious for me. It's figuring out the recoil pattern, and I thought it was going to be difficult doing every gun, and every gun was going to be so much different. It was going to be so much more training, but I've put in a lot of time with the first few guns, and it's becoming less time that I'm having to put in to feel more confident with these guns. So here we're gonna hop into the gauntlet, and getting set up is always tough because I'm trying to make sure that I've got the heals that I need, the shields and the guns and everything, without actually taking damage, or being able to get away with a Phoenix kit so that I can actually be full health going into the first wave of it. But then once you get over here, it's like you're stuck kind of in a corner. You kind of gotta fight your way out. I don't know, it's pretty cool, but again, it comes down to hitting shots. So you would never want to do this in a real fight. Like if you were fighting somebody, I mean, granted, I guess you could poke a couple shots and see how their aim is. If their aim is terrible, you could push them, but it's a dumb idea to push straight at somebody like this. And this is just, it's not something you would want to do. Like, and then I missed shots there. I would have been dead had that been a real player. I probably would have been dead. There are a couple of things that I do in here that are a little ridiculous, like this. Hit him with the old bamboozle, flop up and drop behind him. I took a shot in the face. Not good, because in a real game, there's third parties and a lot of other kids flying in as soon as they hear gunshots. It's always smart to play your corners. Now, I try to somewhat play them just to kind of get a feel for like jiggle peeking and stuff like that. But also the bots, like, because of the AI not being as realistic as a player. Look at this bamboozle right here. We hit him with the whole way around and then come back and hit our shots. So that's why you do that getting crazy, because I was whipping around and I slid and hit shots. This is an example of like being able to snap on somebody. So if I wasn't able to hit my shots there, I wouldn't have fried that guy. And in a fight, that's the difference between life and death. I thought I was going to hit that corner perfectly with the angle and be able to slide, and it didn't. It stopped dead. But instead of panicking, I snapped and hit my shots and fried him, and I ended up making it out of there alive. This is an example of force yourself to stop and heal. I was one shot. If I had peeked that, yeah, I might have won, but I also might have got one tapped because I literally was one. Always remember to check how much ammo you have. I saw that there was 2 bad guys and I just fried that one guy, but I didn't think about the fact that, hey, I just burned through all my ammo, so that I had to make kind of a quick retreat. In this, it's okay because I know where the ammo is. In a real life scenario, I don't know where ammo is, and I may not be able to get any more. So know how much ammo you have. Know that both of your weapons are reloaded, or if one is reloaded and one's not. When you get a chance to, make sure they're both reloaded. That's just an example of hitting your shots. That recoil control, one clipping them. That was a dumb idea to sit out there and take that PK in the face. I could have forced him, you know, peeked out and popped back in to force the shot and then popped out and fried him. Here's a good example of jiggle peeking, kind of hitting that corner out to pop some shots, and then when he fires, pop back behind the corner, reload. Always making sure, like there, I could have crouched. Would have been better for me to reload while crouching. Here, I'm making a dumb push, but I'm also kind of popping back behind that little wall cover to the right. This is an example of don't miss your shots, but then get crazy right there. Like, see how I slid backwards? I still hit those shots. When you hit those shots like that, it's good because it forces them to rethink the situation. Here, missing shots. Don't miss your shots, guys. Like, these things are all examples of, I am doing this. This is a dumb push. Why would I do that? Why would you do that in a fight? That guy would have fried me if that was a person online. But it's why we're in here doing it in firing range, not in real games, because you learn and adapt, and I can sit here and I can watch back over things that I'm doing and figure out what I'm doing wrong. Like this, it was a dumb push there. It was smart to get behind cover and reposition, but then I take a shot here that I shouldn't have. Like, I shouldn't be taking that damage. I should have ducked those shots, but I didn't. Here, I'm going to reposition, and then I'm going to try to take this guy out one clip. Missed some shots, but I got into cover before he shot. Luckily, I dodged that one shot, and here, I think I fried this guy one clip. Oh, I'm out of ammo again. It's just reminders. Hey, always make sure you know what ammo you got. I fry him, and then I get killed by this other guy here. Yep. So that's the end of it. Bullets fires 21,210, 1 hour 45 minutes, 58 bots killed, and I died the one time at the end. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed the content, please feel free to like and subscribe.